A new sheriff's in town with the secret warriors, but are they really ready to clean up war? Or will they fizzle out at high noon?
Hard, no cash to spend, free to play till the very
Today we are talking about the brand new Secret Warriors team in Marvel Strike Force. This squad brings 4 reworked characters: Quake, Yo-Yo, Domino and Negasonic Teenage Warhead under the leadership of newest Strike recruit, Phantom Rider, who will all be earning through the Battle Pass. This is a war offense team designed to take down some of the toughest enemies out there, including the likes of Mephisto. But are they a must build for you, Commander? Or are they another shiny distraction? So now that we've met the posse, it's time to see what each member's packing. We're going to break down their kits, talk about which T4s give you the most bang for buck, and recommend the best Iso-8 classes to round out the team. So as per usual, we're going to start with the reworks, and what better place to start than Yo-Yo. And her rapid strikes is her basic attack. This is going to attack the primary target for 200% damage and clear counter. 70% chance to gain an assist from a random Inhuman or Secret Warriors ally, and this attack cannot be counterattacked. Now the T4 on this is going to add an additional 30% damage, which is that 230% damage, and will always gain an assist from a random Inhuman or Secret Warrior ally. And because of that always gain an assist from a random Inhuman or Secret Warrior ally, I have put this as a nice to have T4. Now, you're probably not going to overly get to your basics in the fight. This team is very much a semi glass cannon team, so you're going to need to get in quick, hit quick, and get out again. Flurry is her special, and this one you are going to be able to open up with. This is going to apply safeguard to herself and all Secret Warrior allies. It's going to attack the primary target for 150% damage, bonus attack another time for 150% damage, and then repeat this attack on 2 additional random targets. Now, I've got this down as a high value T4 because that extra 20% damage to all attacks is very nice, but the additional third attack, that is very, very key. She is going to be one of your big damage dealers on the team. Run the Gauntlet. This is her turn 2 ability. Is going to attack all enemies for 220% damage, and it is going to generate 1 ability energy for all Inhuman or Secret Warrior allies. That is very, very nice. But the T4 is the icing on the cake. Plus 50% damage to all enemies. So that's 270% damage to all enemies. And on War Offense, which is where you're going to be using this team, she's going to generate 1 ability energy for a random Phantom Rider ally. Now, I have got this down as essential because that means that you are giving 2 ability energy to your Phantom Rider and 1 ability energy to all other Secret Warrior allies. And her passive, Swift Protector, on spawn is going to apply defense up for 2 turns to all allies. This is why I said they're a bit of a glass cannon team, guys. On enemy turn, if this character has no other protector allies, apply offense down to that enemy. And on war offense, if that enemy has safeguard and Yo-Yo has Secret Warrior allies, instead she's going to reduce the duration of a random positive effect per Secret Warrior ally up to a maximum of 4 by 1. This cannot be dodged. So with the full team, she will reduce 1 positive effect, 1 random positive effect by 4 effectively, that cannot be dodged. On this character's turn and on ally, non-minion, shield or Inhuman turn, 50% chance to apply evade to that character. That is not going to do anything where our Secret Warriors are concerned, but it might come in handy in other content further down the road, having her with that. You know, maybe we get an Inhumans rework where we can put her in. Maybe we get some PvE content where we need to use Inhumans. Who knows? When an ally drops below 50%, she's going to apply defense up for 2 turns to the ally. And if that ally was a Secret Warrior, she's going to flip Disrupted to immunity for the ally. And if that ally was Phantom Rider, she's going to gain defense up for 2 turns and taunt for 2 turns. She gains 25% dodge chance. And the T4 on this one, which again I have down as essential, is on war offense. She is going to apply 2 evade to self and all secret warrior allies. Now that is on spawn, so she's applying defense up for 2 turns and 2 evades, so that is going to give you some instant dodges. She is a very, very key character, and with all those multiple target attacks, from the attack all on the Run the Gauntlet to the multiple target attack from her special, I have her down as a raider as my Iso-8 of choice. Next up, we are going to cover Quake, and her basic seismic blast is going to attack the primary and adjacent targets for 220% damage and apply slow for 2 turns. Now the T4 on this one I have as a complete skip, because all it is doing is adding that additional damage to those primary and secondary targets. These are, if you have the additional T4s, put it on, but in all honesty, it's not needed. Shockwave, this is her special. Again, she's going to start with this, and this is on a hell of a low cooldown at 3 turns of cooldown. She's going to attack the primary target for 200% damage and clear 2 positive effects. She's then going to apply Disrupted, and she's going to chain to up to 2 targets for 200% damage, also clearing 2 positive effects. If Coulson, who won't be an ally, but Yo-Yo or Phantom Rider is an ally, and you'll probably have both Yo-Yo and Phantom Rider here, she's going to apply slow to the primary and secondary targets. Counterattack will break this chain. And the T4 on this one, again, is another skip. It is only adding 40% damage to the primary and secondary targets. Earthquake, this is her ultimate, and with Yo-Yo, you can potentially make this a turn 2 ability. This is going to clear barrier from all enemies and attack all enemies for 295% damage. On war offense, if this character has 3 or more secret warrior allies, she's going to apply ability block to the primary and adjacent targets. She's going to gain plus 500% extra focus for this attack. That's very nice. Again, just damage on the T4, so this can be skipped. It will make that damage up to 320% damage, but it can be skipped. This is quite cool. The ability block is essential with her slows. She's going to be a really good character to have around. And then her passive, Secret Warrior. When a Secret Warrior ally drops below 40% health, she's going to clear 3 random negative effects on that ally, obviously as long as they do not have trauma. She's going to gain 100% focus. Secret Warrior and Shield allies are going to gain 100% focus. Onward defense, if this character has 3 or more Secret Warrior allies on spawn, she's going to apply immunity and safeguard to self and all Secret Warrior allies. That is pretty damn good. Immunity, safeguard, Yo-Yo's giving defense up. We have like Infinity Watch plus, because immunity, safeguard and defense up is pretty damn good. On spawn, generate 2 ability energy for self. So there you go. That means that Earthquake is definitely going to be on the table turn 1 for you. Lower the crit damage by 100% for all enemies with ability block. Now, I've got this down as a high value T4 because at the end of any Secret Warrior ally turn, Quake is going to attack the most injured enemy for 150% damage and apply heal block for 1 turn, up to a maximum of 3. So that is a sort of out of Quake's turn attack, which is really, really good. Now, I've got her down as a raider on the infographic, and I think that is probably going to be the best class for her, just down to the fact of all the AoE attacks that she has. But with the out of turn attack that she has here on her passive, it does also give cause for Skirmisher, along with having that extra focus from Skirmisher, which will mean that you will definitely apply those ability blocks and those slows. So Although on the infographic, I do have it down as a raider. Skirmisher is also another option you could have on Quake. Next up, we have one of the mutants, Domino, and she is pretty good as well. Her basic lucky shot.
That's not a superpower.
Attack the primary target for 160% damage. Gain 50% crit chance for this attack. Gain an assist from a random X-Force or Secret Warrior ally. The T4 on this one, completely skippable. It is only adding that 50% damage to the primary target. I do not feel that anything that just adds damage is worth your T4s, especially when we consider that this team is an additional team on top of our Insidious 6 that we already have. Fire in the hole. This is going to be available on turn 2 for her. If Deadpool is an ally, transfer all negative effects from self and each X-Force ally to Deadpool. This is going to do nothing in the Secret Warriors, by the way. Fill speed bar for Deadpool by 60%. Okay, cool. Attack the most injured enemy and all adjacent targets for 270% damage. Nice. Bit of AoE attack. Clear 2 negative effects from self and all Secret Warrior allies. That's what we want. The clearing of negative effects from self and all Secret Warrior allies. The T4 on this one, again, is completely and utterly skippable because all it is doing is filling the speed bar for Deadpool by an extra 20%. So that means that you will fill his speed bar by 80%. We're not going to be using Deadpool in this. So unless this comes back around to where we can use X-Force at some point in time, or these two, Domino and Deadpool, get put back together, it's a little bit of a wasted T4. Because the only other thing you get from this is that extra 50% damage. Now that does make it 320% damage, but I don't see that as a big deal. No scope. This is going to be available on turn 1 for her. And this is going to attack the primary target for 270% damage and apply disrupted. It's going to be a rebound chain attack, which is going to go to 5 adjacent targets for 270% damage. Dodge will break this chain, but counterattack will not, which is really cool. If this character has 3 or more Secret Warrior allies, it's going to apply Disrupted to secondary targets, and this attack cannot be dodged. So this is basically, as long as you have 3 or more Secret Warrior allies, this is a 6-person attack that cannot be dodged for 270% damage. But again, the T4 on this character is rather unimpressive. An additional 40% damage to the primary and secondary targets, making that 310% damage, which, yes, is more damage, but damage isn't all it's cracked up to be. So again, this is a T4, I think, especially considering this team. This is a T4 that if you haven't already done it, you can skip. Lady Luck. This is her passive. And again, luck really isn't a superpower.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
On spawn, she's going to fill her speed bar by 15%. The next part isn't even applicable to the team itself. On X-Force ally's turn, 50% chance to apply evade to that ally, gain 10% dodge chance. X-Force allies gain 10% dodge chance, gain 10% crit damage, which is applicable to her, obviously. X-Force allies gain 10% crit damage and apply a minus 15% crit damage to all enemies. So that is applicable to to this team. So on War Offense, on spawn, she's going to fill speed bar for self and all X-Force or Secret Warrior allies by 5% and apply offense up. That's pretty cool. On Secret Warrior ally's turn, she's going to apply evade to that ally. That is also pretty cool. And she's going to apply an additional 10% crit damage to all enemies. Minus 10% that is. So that is minus 25% crit damage. The T4 on this one, I have got down as nice to have. So the 25% a chance to apply evade, that only goes into the X-Force. So that makes it a 75% chance. We're not worried about that. 10% crit chat damage for herself and all X-Force allies. Well, that is literally, we've got to read that as 10% crit damage for herself only, where this team is concerned. Oh, and Negasonic, obviously. So she does get to put that to Negasonic, sorry. On War Offense, apply an additional minus 5% crit damage to all enemies. So again, with that 10% crit damage, the 25% chance to apply evade to the X-Force ally, which is she's going to get anyway because she is a secret warrior, where we're talking about Domino, and that minus 5% crit damage to all enemies. I just think this is a nice to have T4. If you've got extra T4s lying around, then certainly put this one on. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and her basic Energy Blast is going to attack the primary target for 290% damage and apply bleed. On War Offense, if Phantom Rider is an ally, this attack does an additional 50% damage. Nice. So 340% damage plus bleed on War Offense, as long as Phantom Rider's there. However, again, this is just a damage multiplier or a damage boost on her basic, and so therefore, you know the drill. I see this as a completely skippable T4. Particle Charge. This is going to be available on her second turn. She's going to attack the primary and adjacent targets for 240% damage, and then clear 3 positive effects from each target. On War Offense, if Phantom Rider is an ally, this attack does an additional 50% damage. This attack cannot be blocked. Very, very nice. The T4 on this one, I have down as a high value T4, and that is because it is going to add that 60% damage to the primary and secondary target. So that makes that a 300% damage. And if Phantom Rider is an ally, that is an additional 50%. So that's 350% damage. But the real reason here is the clearing all positive effects from each target. Now, obviously, that requires them not to have Safeguard, but that's still a pretty strong ability. So this is a high value T4. Her ultimate Warhead, which she will start with, is going to attack all enemies for 360% damage and apply heal block for 2 turns. On War Offense, if Phantom Rider is an ally, this attack does an additional 50% damage. So you can see how key Phantom Rider is to this team. Clear defense up on all enemies. If this character has 3 or more Secret Warrior allies, clear 2 random negative effects on self and all Secret Warrior allies. So she's got a cleanse there. The T4 on this one I have down as absolutely essential. On the War Offense, if this character has 3 or more Secret Warrior allies, she's going to reduce the duration of all positive effects by 2 on all targets. That includes Safeguard. That is another decay effect. Reducing the duration isn't removing it. So it removes if it goes to 0 as a duration. Gain plus a 500% extra focus for this action. Absolutely 110% essential if you are building Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Ticking Time Bomb is her passive, and on spawn she's going to barrier self and all Secret Warrior allies for 25% of her max health. Obviously with those new stats, that's going to be pretty big. On War Offense, fill this character's speed bar by 10% plus 5% per X-Force or Secret Warrior ally. So she's going to get quite a lot. She's going to get that 5% speed bar from Domino, and then she's going to fill her own speed bar by 10%, plus 5% per Secret Warrior ally. So the full team, she is actually going to be filling her speed bar by 35%. On enemy turn, barrier self for 5% of this character's max health, and fill her speed bar by another 10%. On successful dodge by a Secret Warrior ally, remember we are spawning with 2 evades, so that is going to happen straight away. Barrier that ally for 10% of this character's max health. When a Phantom Rider ally drops below 40% health, she's going to barrier herself for 15% of this character's max health, and she's going to gain Taunt for 2 turns, so she is going to take the hit for Phantom Rider. If this character has barrier, she is going to gain 20% armor. Now, I have the T4 on this down as a nice to have because it is adding that additional 10% armor if she has barrier. Obviously, the armor is going to make her harder to damage when she has that taunt for when your Phantom Rider drops below the 40% health. Now, with all those AoE attacks that Negasonic brings, it is quite clear that Raider should be her Iso-8 of choice. And now we come on to Phantom Rider. And his basic quick draw is going to attack the primary target for 250% damage. It's going to apply bleed. And then if the target has bleed, it's going to bonus attack them for 225% damage. The T4 on this one I have down as high value. And there is a reason for this. You're going to add 50% damage to the primary target. He's going to apply 2 bleeds. It's going to add 45% damage to the bonus attack. But that is not the reason why this is a high value T4. The reason this is a high value T4 is because he also has an awakened ability on his basic. And this is going to give you 30% drain to the primary target. That is pretty huge. 30% of 300% of your damage will be healed back to Phantom Rider. So this is effectively his way of staying alive. Next up, we have his special Ghost Ride. This will be available on turn 2. It's going to flip immunity and then apply stun to the primary target. So pretty good already. Attack the primary target and all enemies in that character's row for 325% damage and apply trauma. So the row attacks we have had before with characters like Viv Vision, where you choose the row that you want to do. So you've got the front row of 3 or the back row of 2, and it will attack just that row. So it's going to attack all enemies on that row for 325% damage and apply trauma. And on kill, it's going to attack the most injured enemy for, it says percent damage there. I need to look in the JSON to see what that percentage is. On war offense, if this character has 3 or more Secret Warrior allies, it is going to apply stun to the primary target and all enemies in that character's row. That is absolutely amazing. But you can see here how much we are needing those 3 or more Secret Warrior allies. This attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. The T4 on this one I have down as essential because it is an extra 50% damage to the primary and secondary targets. As we know, I'm not massively into the extra damage. It is nice to have that extra damage, but this is the big one. If a target has stun, it is going to prolong the duration of all negative effects except stun and ability block on that target up to a maximum of, again, it doesn't say. I think it's a maximum of 3. But that's not all what makes this essential. Again, Ghost Ride has a awakened ability. Now, this one isn't going to be available to us free-to-play players right away, but it is going to be available from if you bought the premium battle passes on the website. I believe this is the one that you are going to get a special offer for once you have bought the battle passes, the 3 battle passes to get him to 7 stars. So the awakened ability on this is on war offense. It's going to ignore defense up. Any attack that ignores defense up is absolutely huge. Next up, we have his ultimate Bucking Banshee, and this is on a hell of a low cooldown of 3 turns. This is going to attack the primary and adjacent targets for 350% damage and apply heal block for 2 turns and trauma for 2 turns. On war offense, it is going to clear 2 random positive effects on each target, and it will also clear all battlefield effects on the enemy side. That's right, this will clear the Mark of Mephisto. Characters killed by this attack cannot be revived. That's amazing. This attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. Now again, I have this down as an essential T4, and the reason for this is as follows. Again, damage puts it up to 425% damage. That is pretty good. Wouldn't make it to an essential T4 on its own, but this is the icing on the cake. On War Offense, if this character has 3 or more Secret Warrior allies, flip Exhausted to offense up on self and all Secret Warrior allies. That is just so good. Flipping that Exhausted condition to offense up. Oh, that is going to cause some major issues. And this ability also has an awakened part to it. And on War Offense, for the awakened ability, it is going to copy 2 random positive effects except taunt from each target to self. And on War Offense, it is going to flip 2 random positive effects on each target. So you are getting a little bit more bang for your buck out of this one here. And finally, we have his passive, Ghostly Gunslinger. On spawn, he's going to gain revive once. Hey, we've got another almost Old Man Logan-esque thing going on here, it seems. On turn, he is going to attack all enemies for 225% damage and clear all charged. He's also going to reduce the duration of 3 random positive effects by 1. That is absolutely insane. On non-summoned enemy death, he's going to gain revive once. So as he kills characters, he's going to gain his revive once back. On Secret Warrior ally death, he's going to flip Disrupted on self and gain offense up for 2 turns. And on War Offense, he's going to fill his speed bar by 100%. That's it's just mental. On revive, he's going to clear all negative effects from self and all Secret Warrior allies. He's going to apply 2 death proof and speed up for 1 turn and barrier himself and all Secret Warrior allies for 10% of his max health. On War Offense, he's going to revive with 100% of his max health. So on revive, he's going to clear negative effects. He's going to apply death proof and speed up. That's really good. Barrier. That's really good. And on War Offense, he's going to come back with full health. Stupidly good. While this character has revive once, he is going to gain 25% dodge chance. That is on top of the dodge chance that he is given from, I want to say Domino, and 3000% focus. So we don't need to worry about focus here with him. On War Offense, if this character spawned with 3 Secret Warrior allies, enemies cannot fill speed bar for themselves or allies. That is absolutely amazing. On War Offense, this character's passive revive chance cannot be reduced or prevented. So Hitmonkey and Mephisto are 2 characters who can lower the passive revive chance. Now the T4 on this one I have down as essential, and it is partially to do with this, but partially also to do with the fact that we do have an awakened passive. 100% damage to all enemies, that's pretty huge. That is on turn attacking all enemies for 325% damage. That's without his normal attacks. So that is extra damage. On revive, he's going to gain an additional 15% of this character's max health as barrier. So that is 25% barrier to Secret Warrior allies and himself. While this character has revive once, on War Offense, enemies cannot gain deflect, counterattack, or evade. That is so good. But again, the awakened ability is just the cherry on top. It is on turn, if any charge were cleared, he's going to heal himself and all Secret Warrior allies for 10%. That is pretty damn good. There are a number of characters that rely on charged in the game at the moment, and having that where it gets cleared and heals, mwah, chef's kiss, shall we say. Now, the Iso-8 class of choice for Phantom Rider is going to be Striker. He will, once he gets to his 7 yellow, 7 red state, he will gain quite a bit from this. Okay, and for those of you who are unsure as to how you are going to get Phantom Rider, so here it says complete all the Battle Pass milestones to maximize your shard rewards. You'll unlock a 3-star Phantom Rider after completing just 1 premium pass or 3 standard passes. You're going to max out your Phantom Rider at 7 yellow stars after the 6 premium passes, or you can earn 240 Phantom Rider shards after 6 standard passes, which is the 4 stars. Banshee's Fury. So while the Battle Pass features Phantom Rider, the Banshee's Fury milestone will be live. This is how you're going to get his red stars. You will get enough of the horseshoes, which is the currency that goes to this Banshee's Fury milestone, to get the 7 red stars at the end of the 6th Battle Pass. However, if you want diamonds for Phantom Rider, you are going to have to purchase them, and you're going to get 1 diamond by purchasing all 6 premium passes. So that is the £20 or $20 if you're in the US, but £20 for me in the UK. That is £20 per pass. So that is a grand total of £120 to get a 1 diamond on this character. If you want the 3 diamond, you are going to have to purchase all 6 premium plus passes. Now those are the £50 passes for the battle pass. That is major Kraken whale territory. Banshee's Fury also rewards character upgrade tokens for the updated Secret Warrior characters, Quake, Yo-Yo, Domino, and Negasonic. By the 4th milestone, you'll have enough shards for all 4 characters to reach 7 yellow stars and level 95. Now, there was a big thing which we covered earlier on in the week, and a link to that one will be up in the top corner here. And they have come back with a result to this, and we're going to go over that in a moment because I think this is a massive win for the community. The Awaken abilities. Add the key Awaken abilities. So the basic is going to come from the Phantom Rider Showcase. That's cool. Most of us should already have that. The Awaken special. This is going to come for a special for after reaching 5 yellow stars for the Phantom Rider. Now that Awaken special is very good. Obviously, free to play is not going to get option to buy that because we aren't going to get to the 5 yellow stars. But if you do are a pass buyer, you will get this special offer pop up when you reach 5 yellow stars. The ultimate can be earned by purchasing all 6 of the premium or premium plus battle passes, only available when purchased on the web store. And then the Awaken passive is going to be available by both the standard battle pass and the command center. Now, I do want to go over the refund. So earlier on in the week, we had a video out about the refunds and the state of the refunds, and this is their response to it. So commanders, over the weekend, a refund of materials was sent to players who upgraded their Secret Warrior characters 14 days prior to the announcement of the Banshee's Fury milestone, which rewards tokens for the reworked members of the Secret Warriors team. The refund that was given was for taking the characters from level 1 to 105 instead of 1 to 95. They are going to be sending all players who are not part of this refund a 14-day calendar to make up the difference, which is going to go live this Saturday, the 13th of September. They will be following up separately for players who were refunded but didn't receive the same total value as players who were refunded up to level 105. And I hope that includes also people who were refunded to the full 105 but then had some of that refund taken away from them. But that 14-day calendar is going to give you 65.6 million gold. That is amazing. And 6.6 thousand L4 training modules. Again, absolutely amazing. I do hope that this isn't coming out of our budget to what we would normally have during the month. I'm pretty sure it won't, but we will find out at the end of the month when we do build positively. All right, so here we have the infographic for the Secret Warriors saddling up for war. This will be available on the Jetson Squad Discord. Link to that will be in the description down below. So if you want to come over there to grab this infographic or any of my other infographics, or just to join the community of solid people, then head on over and click that Discord link. So that's the Secret Warriors, a solid war offense team with some interesting flexibility. But before we wrap up, I want to tackle the big question. Am I going to build this team? And the short answer is no. Unless they end up being absolutely required for some sort of future content. And let me be very clear, this decision isn't because they're a weak team or because they're some kind of resource trap. They're not. They actually look pretty solid, especially with Phantom Rider in the mix. But the real reason I won't be building them is a personal and moral reason. Phantom Rider's history in the comics is one I just can't overlook. Back in the 80s, the character drugged, manipulated, and assaulted Mockingbird, a storyline that treated women in comics very badly. And while Scopely hasn't confirmed this version is Lincoln Slade, they also haven't said it isn't. Unlike other recent releases where they've clearly identified the character behind the mask. CBR actually breaks this down really well, so I'm going to link that article in the description below if you want to read more yourself. So for me, this isn't about gameplay, it's about not wanting to associate with this character. But for you, Commander, if you're comfortable building them, they'll definitely serve you as a strong B+ war offense team. And if you want more team guides, then why not check out these two videos right here.